God Theory podcast all up in that ass.
Whoa!
I'm trying to get a good opening.
Well,
Yeah,
that's the opening now. That's how we started.
Nothing screams pair of academics like that opening.
That's actually how academic conferences start. You never been to one?
No, never.
Yeah.
I guess I wouldn't know. I would have a basis for comparison. You
Yeah, that's
start
screaming,
your
yeah.
graduate thesis or your dissertation that way.
Yeah, when you're defending your dissertation, that's how they start.
You're like,
Jeremiah,
left
defending up in that ass.
Yeah, line up on the
Bend
left
over,
for signing
coming into that ass right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So we're trying out openings here at the God Theory podcast, but this is our 9th episode, and obviously we've got JT back on.
Obviously, we nailed it this time.
Hello.
We nailed it. Yeah, let's keep this one. I'm really excited about it. But all up in that ass. That's what you want to hear. Like as soon as intro music stops. No,
It's a nice safe space to land when you're transitioning out of a faith.
This is a God Theory podcast. Go fuck yourselves.
Oh my God.
that should be our.
Man, they sound kind of angry. Like one of those
No.
angry atheists.
Oh, that's the thing. We're super nice. JT's a cuddle monster.
It's not
I do
true.
therapy for a living, and David is. I don't know. I guess he's kind of a bastard.
Yeah, I torture children.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But so we're talking about this time something that we're setting up. So atheist communities in general are kind of important, right? Like people need. You got church. You got like vocational Bible or not vocational Bible camp, vacation Bible camp. You got all these organizations and places to go. Easter parties. But when you give that all up, what do you got?
Yes, one of the reasons that there's still a lot of atheists that stay in church. It's the only community they know. It's the only way they think their kids can have friends. So even though they don't believe,
Somebody
they
to
stay in
help you
church.
move.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So one of the great things about online communities is even people in Mississippi, where you are, whom I think they're the only atheists in the world, can find friends and like family they choose and enjoy these communities that aren't visceral where they are. The wrong word. That aren't tangible where they are. There's pretty much no medium that works better for that than gaming, because it's so much tied into the internet already.
Atheists love the internet. Gamers love the internet. It's a match made in heaven.
You turned a phrase. You should be a literature major.
I should go back in time and do that a second time.
That was painful. Painful. But anyway, yeah. So I'm excited about this in general because I like for people to get social support's like super important, right, in people's lives.
Well, no, you're the psychologist, is it?
Yes, it is. I was rhetorical. Nice.
Okay.
Super important. It's one of the things we assess for. Like you can, if you want to, like there are chick models and mice models for this. If you want to give them depression, you literally just isolate them.
Why would I want to give a little kid chicken?
You know why.
Name of science.
It's like,
why.
cheap, cheap, cheap. And then I come back a week later, cheap, cheap. And I'm like, good, it worked. Jeremiah was right.
And when they cheap, I just slam my fingers up to the plastic glass. I'm like, fuck you, chick. Get fucked.
Oh my God.
Psychologists are the worst. They do this. That's what they do. This is their jobs. They make baby cute animals depressed.
Yeah, they're chicks. They're so adorable. They don't know what's going on, but they hate life. So.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding. It's always sad.
Oh my God. So we're talking about ways to make atheism welcoming to newcomers, and
Yeah.
Today's topic is how to be moral without God. Jeremiah.
So if you want to make little chicks like super hate life, like they string up themselves up with a little bitty I was like, how do you get dental floss? And that's just how it happened. So what were we talking about?
I feel so dirty.
These communities and places for people to belong where they don't belong otherwise. Yeah, I like this idea. We just started up this group, spearheaded by JT, none other than, and I think this is awesome.
Yeah, like spearheaded by me, but like David's already in there being like, okay, we're gonna have a retro gamers club, and here are the games. And like, it's good. Like things work better when they're a group effort.
We do have some experience with gaming communities, so we're just copy and pasting basically, but it's working out. There's already a vibrant force.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people coming in. Like on day one, we're like a few hours in, we've got a bunch of podcasts lined up to promote it. Yeah, and like not only is it good for atheists, I think, because there's already, obviously, look at the community's already out there. There's an atheist gamer community, but there's no hub for them. There's no place for them to all go hang out. Like I can't, like when I was looking at this, I couldn't believe this need hadn't already been met. This is gonna be, I know it's gonna be at least good for me too, because like, you know, as the climate of atheism changes, like I find myself more interested in community building. And something like this is just my dream come true. It's something that's stayed constant throughout my life. You know, we played games back in the day. I still play games.
Dude, when I first, okay, so I don't know what you, David. One of the first times I'd ever.
We can tell the story. I know what story you're about to tell.
So
you told us last time I was on your goddamn show.
Oh man,
I remember because I'm so embarrassed because I was such a little shit as a kid.
I'll just give a booster. So basically, let's just basically starve. So, I got pleurisy. That's a thing. Like, my lung inflated, apparently, was infected because I slept on the floor in, like...
Yeah, but if that hadn't happened, let me just borrow some Leibnizian optimism here. If that hadn't happened, we wouldn't have known Tim was cool because he brought us chicken nuggets.
Yeah. So really, Tim should thank you, JT, for all that.
Yeah, that was the start of a beautiful friendship with JT's little brother.
Oh, isn't that how I got the evil DMI? Do you remember that?
You're welcome.
Yeah, the gross infection. Yeah.
Yeah, I got this gross because like there's a bed that only their cat sleeps on, right? And like, it's got a fleece.
This is a booster. That's what this is, a booster.
No, this is an addition. Like I didn't have this.
Okay.
There's a fleece blanket that I don't know if you know anything about fleece, but if you take a cat, turn it upside down, and rub it once on a piece of fleece, it's just covered.
The cat is bare naked at that point. It's all on the fleece.
And it's summer, so it's hot as fuck. So what do cats do? They shed, and so they shed all over this bed. And I was like, where should I sleep? And like, you sleep up there, but there's no sheets or anything. So you just got to sleep on top of it.
Just so I did. Your head on the shit bed.
When I woke up, I was like, I swing my head back, and I was like, something's wrong with my eye, and it was like swollen shut. And I opened it, and it felt like there were shards of glass. And I was like, there's cat all over me. And so I had to go to the doctor, and he like put these drops in, and he made me say, what was it, David? It was something like, "Death to the Invaders." Remember that? I had to scream it, "Death to the Invaders!" and drop them in my eye, and my eye was just this bloodshot monstrosity. And when I say bloodshot, I'm not. It looked like the Red Sea. Like it was just. I don't know.
You look like Two-Face post the being set on fire.
Yeah, that was Two-Face, and it lasted for a while. So we played.
Remind me why I come on y'all's show again. Remind me of this.
So then
this is a good gaming story because then you used that whenever you would roll. He was the DM. Whenever you'd roll your d20s, you'd look at it with your evil, disgusting eye, and it seemed to curse the dice into critical hits.
It did. I was like, let me see that dice first, and I'd just stick it right up to my face, and I'd like stare at it, and it rolled poorly.
Yes.
But oh man.
Back to the gaming group.
Point being, games have been with us for our whole lives.
So
a long time.
How would people find this group if they were so inclined?
Go to Facebook, type in atheist, run a search for Atheist Gamers. Let me see if we got ourselves a nice, memorable thing.
HTML.
No, that's a coding language. URL. Nope. Nothing like. You just have to go run a search for Atheist Gamers. We got our own snazzy logo.
Fix that
with a controller. Oh, Zay will fix it. He's an admin. He has that kind of power.
I have once fixed things like this before. Customized address. Yep. Hold on.
Oh, sweet.
Just a second.
This is why I have talented admins.
Hackers.
This is good radio. Let me tell him more about how JT was a shitbag.
Oh my
God. I'm just kidding. No, besides that meeting, JT's awesome. Like we had a lot of fun. We used to play basketball. Do you remember when we played basketball in your front yard, but you didn't have anything? It was just all rocks. So you'd shoot.
Yeah, it used to be grass, and then like I played so much that the grass just went away, and then it was all rocks.
So we kind of play like this: stand back and shoot a free throw shot, and then scramble to get the ball before it flew off into the woods, because it would just hit a rock, and for some reason just catapult off into the distance.
Yeah,
but
kept us in shape. You're welcome for that too.
Yeah, another way it helped. All right, David, did you fix it?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. This is why I keep you guys around.
If you go to facebook.com/group/atheistgamer, one word, you will find the group.
Wait, gamer?
Yeah, gamers was taken.
Oh, okay. Atheist gamer.
Any atheist gamer is welcome.
Yeah. God, I wish we could tell the story of the back channel discussion we had about trying to find a name for the group.
Oh, you mean
Yeah.
Tim's suggestion? Because I'm surprised we didn't go with that.
Finally, I got tired of being trolled. I was just like, it's Atheist Gamer. Executive decision made.
Overruled.
I don't
You can't
know about
outsource
this
decisions to us, to the
Yeah,
guys.
you have
We're
the
gonna
worst
fuck with you.
friends. That's not a good. It's not a good idea.
I can't do it to Tim for damn sure. Okay, so we got the game going. We got this community built, and people are coming into it. It's awesome. We've already got a program going. David's running kind of like a retro gamer club.
Yeah. And there's something pretty cool about gaming in particular that I hope to show. I study this stuff, and like one of the things I was looking for whenever I ran my last experiment was that, okay, so there's this weird things that monkeys do, okay? And I think you guys may already hear or have heard of this, but I'll tell everybody else that's listening. Chimpanzees are not that violent, right? They'll pretend fight, they'll run at each other and bare their fangs, and they call it, it's like boundary wars, and they'll do displacement, which means I run at you, and if you move, then I win, and if you don't move, then it's a challenge. But they do that repeatedly before they'll ever touch each other, and the hope is that they'll never fight each other, and it's because one bite in the woods can kill you. But there's a weird thing that chimpanzees do occasionally, and this is fucking creepy. Occasionally, they'll get together in a small group and go and murder the shit out of another chimpanzee. Just
For no reason?
Murder 'em. Well, who knows? Like, we don't know. But like, they'll go and they'll kill them. Like, a group of 3 or 4, they'll kill them, and it's savage, dude. You can like YouTube this shit, and they'll just beat it and rip into it with its fangs. And then when they go home, they do something really weird. The female chimpanzees in communities will groom each other, right? Like, they'll sit at home and they'll kind of eat the bugs off of each other, and it's considered it's a good thing for people to do. It's a beta females will do that to alpha females to try to gain good with them and that kind of thing. Males don't do that, though. Rarely do that. But after murdering, they do, which is weird. And so for me, I interested in the human aspect of that is that you get this band of brothers type idea, right? Like battle brothers, like I was closer to people I was with than ever before. And you get that idea of how men sometimes fight each other and then afterwards they shake hands.
Yes.
So I was fascinated by that. Like, what is it about violence together that brings you together? And so I looked at that with violent video games. And you just see these things like cooperation or a willingness to help someone else. So you saw pro-sociality go up in those situations where people murdered together, which is awesome. So if you guys want to go murder some people together and then become closer, this is the place to do
So
it.
if you really want to build a community.
Yeah, then you better murder some others.
It worked in Lord of the Flies. I mean, why wouldn't it work here?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that weird? Like, we're fucked up.
It is. Now I want to kill with people. We got to get a Counter-Strike Go team going. Actually, did you see James Croft, who runs the Humanists? Oh god, the Ethical Society in St. Louis. He's playing Heroes of the Storm. And he wants to form an atheist rank team.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Let's get that together and just enter a tournament and lose and get advertising.
Yeah, I heard they just came out with a new hero. He's actually he started off as a hero, but then he got slowly corrupted by the very evil he was fighting against.
Oh, he's that one character in the World of Warcraft lore.
Oh, you mean
I'm sorry, in all of Blizzard lore.
Yeah.
Oh, so like Kerrigan, Arthas, and Kael'thas, and Jaina, and everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Valkyrian.
Yeah.
Illidan, yeah.
Oh well, but yeah, let's do it. Let's get that shit together.
Yeah. So the retro gaming club. So book clubs. Those are fun, where you get together and everyone reads a book together, and ideally not many people have read it, and you kind of experience it together. You meet and discuss the chapters and development. You talk about where it's going. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, why not do the same thing, but for really good video games? Because video games are a medium for storytelling, just like books are. Why not treat them as such? We talked about this on our other show.
Back in the golden era.
Right, back in the Super Nintendo and Sega days.
Yeah, back when we didn't have hyper good graphics and they had to survive by storytelling.
Yeah.
Unless you're Dragon Warrior, and then in which case get fucked.
No, there's a really good story there. A blue slime approaches. He runs away. Why did he run away? God. Why did he approach first?
Oh, all these questions unanswered. Quentin Tarantino in his young days.
So what games are on the docket for the game club?
So far, the most popular one is Chrono Trigger, and I'm a little hesitant about that one just because I think everyone's already played it, and I'd like to do something that's a little bit more like a new experience. But Chrysalis is also being discussed. It's a Nintendo classic. It's not heavy on story, but it's a fun game if I remember. I played it a long time ago.
Yeah, it was kind of like a Legend of Zelda almost clone.
Yeah, it was like Zelda, but if you could level up.
Yeah. It was one of those games that didn't have the greatest conveyance in the entire world. I remember spending a lot of time running around like, what do I do? Where do I go?
Yeah, it was definitely didn't hold your hand for sure. Final Fantasy VI is also in the contention. I know Jeremiah hasn't played that one yet, so that might be fun.
What?
I know, dude. I'm a piece of shit.
What?
I know.
You run a podcast called the Game Theory Podcast.
I know. It's shame.
Study video games. You study video games, and you've never played Final Fantasy VI?
It's a bad game.
Final Fantasy is kind of an obscure franchise, so he might not have played the best one yet.
Hey, shut it, dude. I came in after FF6 got big.
You?
So like I came in the Chrono Trigger. I got Chrono Trigger, started playing that, loved it, and then I was just like,
came out the same year. How are you?
Yeah, they're literally
too old for you.
Like two of the greatest RPGs ever came out within months of each other.
I'm a piece of shit. I did it on purpose. Is what it was. I was like, fuck Final Fantasy.
That explains it.
I played FF7 and everything passed except for 12 or except for 11. What's the one with the 9 with the monkey tail? I just didn't get into that.
Yeah, that one. I don't know, I feel like if I went in and played that one again, I might like it. But at the time, I was like, this is weird. And we even liked Final Fantasy VIII. That game sucked.
Yeah, we did.
Watch your mouth.
Yeah, it did.
That game.
Do we like it?
Bad.
Gizzard.
You're kind of bad. The card game was the whole point of playing that game.
The card game was excellent.
Yeah.
It was second best mini game in Final Fantasy ever, next to Blitzball.
Baseball. Dude, I stopped playing that game and just went around and recruited everyone.
You stopped playing live. We called you and we're like, Jeremiah, we're in the dodgeball tournament. We could use you, and you're like, I'm about to get the word card. I can't. Like,
I love mini games.
There's a pause button. There's another. He's like, I can't hear you. They're static. Cell phone reception's bad. But this is cell phones, Jeremiah. We're on a landline. He's like, oh, bye.
Like, I did that with the triple jet shot too. And there was something I ditched. And I can't remember what it was, but I was like, I'm about to get triple jet shot and Blitzball. I can't do it. And you were like, real life, and it was something like, there's a bunch of girls here, dude. They're all like taking off their shirts. I was like, yeah, I know, but triple jet shot, Blitzball, it's so important. That game was so weird. Jack's your father. Just kidding. It's kind of not. And also, yes.
I thought 10 was a masterpiece, and somehow 10.2, X2, has gotten all kinds of good reviews online, and I hated it. Like, I thought the execution was terrible. What?
They just did a digital remaster of it.
Yeah, and I actually got it for PS3 because I wanted Michaelin to experience Final Fantasy X because it's heralded as one of the greatest RPGs ever, and I loved it. I thought it was great. But yeah, it came out with the remastered 10.2, which, like, I like the combat system. Like, I love the job system. When that first came out, Final Fantasy V, like, it was huge at the time. It was revolutionary. And then they tried to bring it back for Final Fantasy X2, and the execution was just so terrible. Like, the jobs were cool, but the dress spheres, they changed clothes, and power. Could you be any more condescending to women?
And the dance or singer was one of them?
Yeah. It was, you were basically J-pop idols.
Yeah. That was fucking stupid. Combat was it was a J-pop dance. It was insulting. I don't know why people like that game. That game was awful.
No, and it had such a cool predecessor. Like, you had one leg that had a longer pant leg than the other one. It's like, what? My mind just got blown, dude. Titus.
Sphere Grid was awesome. The Sphere Grid leveling was
Sphere Grid was awesome.
Yes, it was. Makes up for the rest of the aesthetic.
Hey, it's a beach fantasy, man. It was cool.
A beach fantasy. I've never been in the beach and seen pants like that.
It was a unique world. It was a good story.
But did you see that one of the legs was longer?
Elements.
And the other leg, did you see that?
Because that was Walker's hair.
Okay.
A lot of pomade.
Titus, whatever the fuck his name is. Titus was not. He
had a good voice actor. We got to give him that.
Shut up. Titus and Yuna were not the most fulfilling characters.
Luckily they were the main characters, so you had to be super invested in that romance.
That was a problem. But the story was so good you could still empathize with them, even if the actors and characters were not the best written. And the supporting characters were very well written.
I am your father. What?
And the world was engrossing. It was created with extreme detail. Like, okay, so yes, Yuna and Tidus sucked, but there were other things that sucked into the game.
Dude, Kamari was good. Waka was good. Like
Waka, yeah.
Lola, Lulu. Yeah, see, can't forget her.
She's memorable.
Can't get her. I liked her.
We were playing
Her
the game
neckline was
called her
so memorable.
boobs.
But the weird Sephiroth wannabe, the Gerudo guy or whatever they're called. Not Gerudo, that's Zelda. The
Baron?
the ones that were elves basically. Remember them?
Oh yeah.
And the bad guy was basically Sephiroth, but with really long fingers. That was pretty weird.
I'm sold.
But so I was pointing out a bad thing, you dick. But anyway,
No, I did like Blitzball. That was good.
Blitzball.
But like, there's a bunch of people out there like us who have like all these great memories of games. So I'm really excited about the Retro Gaming Club. Like, how many of them do you think played Earthbound?
Yeah, I'd be happy to play Earthbound again.
Right?
Yeah, I've never
that
played
game
that game.
What?
No, I've never beat it.
That'd be a good one too.
Who are you? You
I'm a gamer,
study
swear to God.
video games.
I play all the good games except those two. Like Earthbound was before my time, and to be fair, I came in and I think it was Tim was playing it, and I see him walking through this weird neon place. It's all black and it's neon, and he's like, oh, dude, this game's great. And I was like, really? Who are these people behind you? He's like, those are tiny kids, and I was like, oh, okay. And then he goes, yeah. It's like, but don't worry. Guess what I got equipped? I was like, what? And he goes, a baseball bat, and she's got a frying pan. And I was like, are you at the end of the game? He goes, yep, very end. I'm about to fight the main boss. And I was something like that. And I was like, this is fucking lame. And he's like, well, I'll switch it out for my power yo-yo. I was like, the fuck? Like, it didn't sell it for me. I didn't realize that it was a wonky, weird game. He was like, kind of saying it was an epic game, so.
It's epic in its own weird, strange-ass way.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
But it is.
I've been playing it on my phone.
Okay.
But my phone broke, and then I got a new one, and I was like, I was like 6 hours in. I feel bad playing it all again.
Did you ever play Final Fantasy IV?
Which one was that? Was that the
it was
Red
two
one?
in the United States.
Dark Knight.
Cecil,
Yeah.
Valdez.
Yeah. But I didn't finish it.
What is... I thought you were a gamer.
I am a gamer.
Trigger.
I've got like 200 games on Steam. I play games. I just
How many
I missed
have
that
you
area.
finished?
That's a good point. Probably like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I finished all the games.
But that's what the book club is for. It's for games that you may have missed or maybe that you picked up and never finished. We can all experience them communally, discuss them.
I'm going to go add Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde for the NES.
Oh.
That game. So good.
How about
Like,
a week for
it's
ghouls
like,
and goblins?
They're the same person? What?
Twist ending, guys. Plot twist.
Big rigs, over-the-road racing. We got to play it.
So somebody suggested Terranigma as one of the games, which intrigues me because it's a game that was only released in Japan until people hacked it and made it a fan translation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to be pretty good.
Really?
And it's
Is it
one
part
that
of
I don't
any
think
series?
anyone's played. No, well, it's by the guys who made ActRaiser.
Okay,
And
that game was
some of
great.
yeah, it's by the same studio. They did a lot of those games. Kotaku ranked it like the best SNES RPG that no one's played.
I want to play it.
So that might be a good one for the club because I think none of us have played it, so we'll be coming in with no expectations.
Yeah, I'd love to play that. Yeah, I miss all those games. Like, nowadays, it seems like we lose a big part of the story because we're too busy trying to work on the aesthetic.
Yeah,
Back
it's
in
actually.
the day.
We
Go
were
ahead.
talking about that on the other podcast about fun whenever we record that a little bit later. But I think the thing is whenever, like you said before, when there was nothing else to go on, they were still shitty games, but they fell away because there's no reason to play them. But now you can play like a game like Battlefield 4 that's really cheesy, but it's fun because it's graphics and bang bang and stuff. But I think there's still good games, man. Like Walking Dead. There's like Telltale games, Game of Thrones, BioShock Infinite, all of them. Even the expansions, like the DLC.
BioShock Infinite was great.
All the feels, all of them. I played the game
Yeah.
right after my dad died. Okay, so my dad just died, and I was like, oh, dude, and I'm super.
Bitch, that's a mistake.
Yeah, and I'm super depressed, and I was like, you know what? I need a whimsical, fun game like this. You're flying around on hooks, you can open pairs.
Whimsical and fun, as Bioshock is wont to be.
Yeah, it always starts that way. But it's like in the clouds. There's a city in the clouds. That's literally a metaphor for having a great day. Like always up in the clouds. But like, so I'm playing that, and the end happens, and I literally just slowly slump towards my desk, and I was just like, and then as soon as my forehead hits, Amy comes in, and she's like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And I was like, I want to kill myself. What happened to the game? I was like, kill yourself. Like, it was just this horrible situation. And
Spoiler.
I was like, I was like, it's a father figure. Like, it was just the worst. But games, man, they have the feels, and I love that they're being taken seriously now, you know?
They do.
Like,
and I love what the guy that does Sequelitis, Ego Raptor. I love what he talked about in his Mega Man X review, where he talked about how Mega Man X, even in the intro stage, like really brought you into the game. Like they made sure the feelings of helplessness in the first fight with Vile happened directly to you. Like good games should give you the feels like that. And sure, some of them can with the spectacle and the pretty graphics and everything. Like, so many of them just fail to do it nowadays. Like, they're nice to look at, but they fail to immerse you the way they did with 16-bit graphics back in the day because the character development was so good, story writing was so good, and it had to be to carry you through the game. Yeah,
like, pulling people into the present moment is something that people talk about a lot in literature, and they're doing that now in video games, too, I think. But, I mean, I felt it with, like, The Last of Us. Like, there was moments where I was right there with them. I was just, like, you know, just tied to the screen. So I think it happens, but it's cooler that they did it back then, considering how immersion works, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But,
honestly, that's part of one of the things that keeps me playing League of Legends, because I'm to the point now where a lot of times I don't have to like think things through. It's like you talked about this with Smash Brothers. Like you get to the point where like I am Captain Falcon, and when I want him to punch, he just punches. When I want him to jump to one place, he just jumps there. You just stop having to think about the controller inputs, and you're just that character.
Yeah.
That's everything to me in a game. Like I love being immersed like that.
Me too. Yeah, and
that's why I don't get the Korean RPGs where it's just like a grind fest. I don't see how they enjoy that.
This might be a little cultural. There's something about repetition that gets drilled in really early in their pedagogy, to where it starts to feel good. Like you don't have that aversion to it anymore. So it might just feel comfortable.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to talk about some psychological principles that make that happen on the other podcasts, but I won't spoil them here. But but immersion. One of the things is, we've studied like different things that can kind of fall into that. But the largest predictor of immersion is that somebody wants to be immersed, and that's kind of a tricky thing because it's like it's a voluntary thing. Like if someone's like, "Oh, I love zombie movies," and it's campy as shit, but they still get into it, it's because they wanted to. And then like you can pull yourself out of something, and I do this sometimes if I'm like watching a movie and it's like super scary because I'm a little bitch with movies. Woo, I'm a little bitch. I'll play a video game, and anytime I'm playing a game in the dark and something jumpy happens, I'm like flying out of my seat, where JT, he was sick of my story.
Yeah, he's like, it's enough. It's enough.
He just took the headset off and disappeared. But anyway, he's back.
I was like, fuck off. No, I sneezed and I was like, I have nothing here to wipe my nose with.
Are you sick?
Also, you told that damn story again, so I was like, fuck it, I'm out. So if you could just repeat everything you were just saying.
Yeah, I'll just say it all again.
About immersion.
But basically, like immersion.
I really was interested. I just
got up and got out of it. Thank you. That was JT blowing his nose on the mic. Anyway, immersion and stuff. But anyway, gaming in general, by the way, is almost ubiquitous in American culture. It's to the point now where we can't get a base rate that doesn't have it in studying this phenomenon.
It's like people who study porn trying to find a control group of people who don't watch it.
Yeah, that just happened in, was it, Iowa or something?
Yeah, they tried looking in Mississippi. It turns out they watch more gay porn.
They do. One of the weird things was, what was it, anal or something down here? There was something.
And it went up like ever since Jeremiah moved there. Like it skyrocketed.
It's weird. It's only at
It's weird. It's like a weird little spike.
Immersion.
Yeah. Oh, gaming. Ubiquitous. The point is that everybody plays games of some kind, and most people don't think of themselves as a gamer, but maybe you should. That's one of the things we talk about in the literature, because gamer, what is a gamer? It's kind of a weird term, but everybody plays, like, almost everybody. I say everybody, but statistically, everybody plays some kind of game on their phone, Clash of Clans, whatever. But that's like an entryway. It's the gateway drug, like injecting marijuana. It's going to get you. Oh, yeah.
I always inject that straight into my neck.
right into my pupils.
Oh, this is getting high, so hurts so bad.
There must be a better way to do this.
It probably is. Who the fuck taught you to get high?
I actually remember, like, back in the day, like, you were talking about this, Jeremiah, when you said, like, gaming is going to be a big part of families in the future. Like, it used to be, like, in our generation, the thing was for sons to go out and work on the car with their dad or something like that. You use, like, in the future, you know, dad's going to sit down and play games with their kids, and I really think it's becoming something like that.
Yeah, I played games with my kids already. We got a Wii U and we played that Mario 3D game together. It's awesome. So you could play around, everyone's laughing and having fun. That was like the first time I made it into a shitty little. I made it front page of the whatever news bullshit in Arkansas, but it was on the lifestyle page or something that no one reads. But still, we were there at a LAN party. This guy came and took pictures, and somehow my face got on the front. And I was looking like an idiot because I'm playing a game, and you never look like a glamour model when you're playing a game. You're staring at it, and you're going, ugh, like, you know, squinting your screen going, what's going on? Because I'm trying to shoot someone. I was playing like Quake 3. And but anyway, he asked me questions, and I was like, yeah, I think that, you know, that we'll be playing games with our kids. And it kind of seems like we're doing that, like a lot of the new generation. Bringing our kids to the movies to watch superhero films, you know, playing video games together. It's cool, you know. Who works on the cars nowadays? Fucking nerds.
And note yourself, tomorrow's poll in Atheist Gamers. What's the best Mario game?
Ooh.
I just thought about that, and I heard about Mario 3D. Do you remember when we first played Mario 64 for the N64 and it
blew my
fucking
goddamn
minds?
Oh my god.
Yeah, you just hold that camera button and you're like, the fuck is going on? As the world spins around you.
I can jump in any direction. A triple jump. What?
Mom, I need an adult. Like, it's crazy.
And looking back now, we're just like so completely nonplussed with it.
And how fucking shitty were you trying to move your character in a 3D environment when you very first started?
Oh, terrible. So bad.
That's how the virtual reality is going to be for me the first time they develop that. I'll be like, what? And I'll be just running into walls and stuff. You're like, no, it's just like real life. I'm like, but it's not. This is different.
Dude, did you guys see the article? They're making virtual reality parks everywhere in the country soon.
Oh, that's great.
You didn't hear that?
If my time watching anime has taught me anything, it's that virtual reality is a completely safe environment for people to game in.
Sort of online.
So yeah, this company is building the virtual reality parks in every state. Michael sent me the article. I'll forward it to you if I can find it. But so they're building the static environment with like columns and everything, and then you put the mask on and it maps the environment, so it becomes like you're in Rome or something. And you can actually like run around and touch it and do shit.
That is awesome. That's like an evolution of. Do you remember? Quake 3 was heavily modded. You remember JT?
Oh, yeah.
You and I lived with that guy who modded one of them. Remember that really nerdy guy?
Gabe Newman.
We played a lot of Quake 3.
Yeah. We were playing Quake 3. Remember that Dr. Dre level? It was the club, and we'd go and shoot each other?
Yes! I do remember that.
It's so
we
fun.
had strategies for it.
But people were making. Remember they were making a map of SMSU where we were going, like so you could shoot on it and play. And like people were setting those things up, and this was before school shootings were making popular news. They were still happening, but nobody was like land-basing them like they do now. So it was a little less inappropriate. But man, that's so cool. Now they're doing that for reals. Oh man, play that.
Oh, it sucks. Like, I realize school shootings are a thing. Nobody likes them, but I'd still like to have like a map of my college to go in and play Quake with my friends, like in the place where we live. That'd be badass.
And they're exceedingly rare. Like, mass murders happen a lot. Like, you know, and the fact that they're happening in schools, like, there was a whole, the Secret Service paid for a huge, it's called the Safe School Initiative. They paid for a massive jump after the Columbine thing. It was Colorado. It was the Colorado one where the Batman shooting. They were like, dude, this is a huge trend because media was covering it more, and so they were like, is it that media is covering these more or that they're happening more frequently? And as it turns out, they weren't happening more frequently. Media was just talking about them more. They've been happening since the 80s. The very first one was by a Hispanic-American guy, and the rest have been almost white guys predominantly.
So we always hear about imposter killers. Are those a thing?
Yeah, there's copycat killers, but if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
But it's not people that are. People have this idea that like they'll be like an average Joe like you or me, and all of a sudden I'll be like, "Hey, Dexter's cool. I'm gonna go murder the shit out of someone." And that's not how it happens. Like it's someone who was going to murder. It's just that they found a different way to do it. So you will see a slight uptick. This, you know, the FBI covers all this pretty well too. But it's something that would have probably happened anyway. It's not. It's considered like a collateral damage that was going to happen anyway. Basically, just in a different manner. So, yeah, I mean, you know, monkey see, monkey do, unfortunately. But never someone who wouldn't have done it. It's not like
we're talking about video games and violence. Do video games cause violence?
No. Well, there's no reason to believe that. So, all the all the best evidence that we have so far. If you use good controls and if you control for anything actually, and you use any kind of good statistics, then no. All the studies recently, in the past 10 years that have done it correctly, then no. Longitudinal studies, and overall, youth violence is at an all-time low from the 60s. And when I say all-time low, I mean it's like 600% lower. It's like a massive.
They call
drop.
it the phantom youth problem because phantom youth violence is because we talk about all this youth violence, but it's not there.
It's better. It's better than smoking has dropped. If we all know how young kids back then used to smoke all the time, and now rarely do they. It's better than. It's dropped faster than that. It's dropped faster than
teen pregnancy,
drug use, like anything. It's the best thing America has ever done. And so the point that people are like, and video games are now ubiquitous, especially violent video games. There's a wager that like 89%. This is the last study that was done in 5 years ago now, wagered that, or didn't wager, measured it, and about 89% of games had some kind of violence in it. So, yeah, if that many people are playing games, and there's that many violent games, you should see an uptick in violence, and we see a dramatic drop, so no.
Okay,
no
now,
violence in video games.
Arguably, the violent video game trend began with Doom. I mean, before then you had things like Punch-Out and you had fighting games, but Doom introduced like bloody as shit first person, like trying to really immerse you in killing a whole bunch of shit, right? And that was, I think, 93, and in 93 we saw a huge decline in violent crime. Do you think the two are related? Because I always see it implied that they are.
Do you mean that the crime dropped because people were able to play a video game?
Yeah, were able to vent their frustrations. Yeah, like
yeah, there's this idea of catharsis. Yeah, that but it's not. It doesn't done well in the literature. There's been a couple like studies that have like shown that maybe that's the case, but they weren't well controlled. But people haven't thrown it out by now because it's possible. I mean, like I know that like I'll play video games to like relieve stress. So it's possible that you could relieve stress, and will you relieve specific stress of like wanting to hurt someone? Maybe, we don't know. Like that would be cool to get people in who were about to commit violence, and then have them do that, but we can't. Who's going to be like, yeah, I was just about to commit violence. Can you bring me in right now?
I was about to rob a grocery store. I just.
Yeah.
Do you remember the hubbub that was raised over in '92, Mortal Kombat, when they introduced the ESRB system? Because it's like, oh my god, and you look back on it now, and it looks like ketchup just bouncing around. It doesn't look realistic at all. The Super Nintendo version even had like sweat that popped out instead of blood. It was like, it can't show blood, not on a Nintendo system.
Yeah, like Sega actually used that to try and sell Sega because Mortal Kombat was so popular. It's like, we have the option to turn the blood on. Super Nintendo doesn't.
Oh my god, yeah. It's gaming for adults. Yes. And it's absolutely ridiculous. That's people are freaking out about that, but then they put their kids in organized football, like and lacrosse, where they're beating the fuck out of each other, and like these people are getting in fights on the field. Nerds might get in a slap fight occasionally. Like I call myself a nerd. I'm using that term lovingly. Like I might get in a slap fight over something. I'm not aggressive, but if I would, you see occasional squabs like, "Hey man, that was my power up, dude," but they're not like regularly fighting like hockey, lacrosse.
I've like my second cousins have these little kids and they're like twins in football, and just hearing them talk about like the games they were playing, it's like, yeah, I dove with his legs, really jacked up his knee, like he couldn't walk for like a week, it was awesome. Yeah, my coach told me to take him out any means necessary. I'm like, wow. And video games cause violent behavior in kids. I see.
Oh, yeah, like there was a quarterback that had his leg hurt. If I remember right, he had his leg hurt, and then at Ole Miss they were like, hey, target that leg to the defensive line so they could take him out. And I was like, Jesus, you're gonna what? Like you're gonna hit that person for life?
Person forever.
And they're like, yeah, that's fine. You can break someone's leg or just rip their meniscus or whatever, but don't you dare play Mortal Kombat with blood on. Like that.
Yeah. If you somehow figure out how to do a fatality, good luck, 7-year-old myself, figuring that out.
Yeah.
You might become a violent person.
Looking back in comparison to like games nowadays, like we all played the new Tomb Raider, right?
Yeah.
Like Game of the Year last year.
Yes.
Like scene 1, like she falls through a spike and like the blood is realistic there. And like later on she has to cauterize her own gunshot wound. Like you're seeing this shit. And like go back then, it's like ketchup bouncing off someone, and like this created a scene. It's like Gone with the Wind, where at the end he says, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. And at the time it was this huge fucking thing. And then like all this time later we look back, we're like, what? Nowadays you watch cop movie like Jay and Silent Bob, fucking motherfuck, motherfuck. Like it's just so weird how far we've come. But I guess that speaks well to liberalism. You know, we have been winning for the last several thousand years, slowly but surely.
Yeah, context is huge, and as it turns out, like it matters how people respond as well. So like there was a study that was done to see like people who experienced trauma, whether it was sexual trauma, familial violence, or whether it was a aggressive trauma by someone else, like by the outside, like you got mugged or something like that. And they found that the one largest predictor in all the things they measured was people's responses, which is weird, not what we expected, but it's been replicated since then. That if people lose their shit about it, if they're like, oh my god, and they start treating you like a special flower, that's the highest predictor for developing trauma symptoms and for subsequent dysfunction. So, not to say that you should be like, hey, it's cool, whatever, you got beat up by your dad, but like, but if people don't make a big deal out of it, that's actually a good thing. So when people treat themselves like special flowers, I'm like, no, dude, like, I've had trauma myself, I was a combat veteran, but so I'm speaking as one of you. Don't treat yourselves like special flowers, man. Let's get out there and try to take as much as you can from life. But anyway, context matters is all I'm saying here. So like in video games, if people understand that it's a video game, they understand that it's contextual violence. So like they're not going, like, for example, one of the things Ferguson does, who's this guy who studies this, the top dog in the field, is he'll show this slide, and it's actually from Fallout 3. If any of you guys have played that, of course I think both of you have. But there's a headshot that happens, and it's frozen halfway through.
Yeah, we've played off some video games, unlike some Jeremiahs we know.
If you guys ever heard of this Bethesda company, I don't know. But
It's kind of obscure, Fallout 3.
Super Mario Brothers. No. There's this headshot, and it just blows up this guy's head. And he paused it right where it blows up the guy's head, and he put that on a slide. And you really can't tell if it's real or not because it's zoomed in, and there's like an eyeball flying out. And he'll show the slide, and then when it comes up, he'll say, he'll say, here's the slide, or here's the he goes, violent video games. He goes, hey, we all had a good headshot, and he clicks it, and it shows the picture, and people are like, ha ha ha, they all laugh almost every time through his classes. But then he goes, no, this is a real person getting shot, and then it almost always happens. There's a ripple where people are like, oh god, and they cringe and they freak out, right? We understand what contextual violence is. Like, it's silly, it's a game, it's a playing. We're not gonna do that in real life. No one's gonna shoot someone in real life, or nobody's becoming desensitized to real life violence.
That's a good point. I know. Wow, I never thought about it that way.
Turtles more now.
What was that?
Every time I see a turtle, I just jump on him.
Yeah. Yeah. We should be murdering and people should be jumping on top of bullets from Bullet Bill. Like, nobody does that because we understand it's a fucking video game.
I was pretty happy to see on the Atheist Gamers group a lot of tabletop role-playing games. A lot of people play those. And I was thinking maybe there's something to be said for the fact that when you leave religion, you kind of leave behind a mythology, you leave behind supernatural, you leave behind magic, basically. And I think that might be one of the reasons why things like Doctor Who, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings are so popular with atheists, is we still have that storytelling hole in our, that magic-shaped hole in our hearts, as they say. We still have that like void that needs to be filled with like cool stories, and way better stories than like Jesus died and he respawned 3 days later. But like these epic tales against good and evil, like that's kind of a function religions used to fill that we can now fill through polyhedral dice and storytelling.
Yeah, we want to experience the surreal for sure.
Yeah, fantasy is awesome as long as you know it's fantasy.
Yeah, even with imagination.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to try out this tabletop simulator on Steam. It looks really good, and it's been getting hella good reviews.
Yeah, let's try it out, man.
Looks like we got no shortage of people who want to play.
Cool. I guess we're kind of up on time, so is there any closing thoughts on this?
Join facebook.com/group/atheistgamer. If you're a gamer, you're an atheist, you can go here to fill out your clans, fill out your what do they call them in World of Warcraft? Your guilds. Go there to find other people who play your game and just hang out with people like you. It's one of the beauties of the online. You get a community no matter where you are in the world.
Mm-hmm. Despite all the professed love and kindness, sometimes you can get some feedback or some bad feedback if you mention that you're a non-believer. You can get fucked a little bit. So it's nice because that's one of the cool things about going to that convention that I went to with you and with everyone else is everybody's so accepting. And so I was like, yeah, I'll jump on board those sorts of communities. I mean, I know there's some infighting in general, but overall, without those things, I just feel like people are more accepting, less judgment. So yeah, join up.
Cool.
David, any closing thoughts?
No, I'm just excited to see this take off. It's kind of the the Venn diagram where our two interests collide. We've got two podcasts, one about atheism, one about gaming, and now there's a group that combines the two of them. So this will be fun to see it develop.
Most definitely. Well, cool. All right. Well, thanks a lot, JT, for being on. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Catch you guys later.
The rest of you guys go fuck yourselves. Is that a good sign off? I need a good sign off.
Pretty welcoming.
No, thanks for joining us for another episode.